Hi everybody, I'm Chad Hunter with Hunter Canine.
And I'm David Broder with Innovative Canine Academy, and this is
Maddie.
And one of the big questions that we get is about fetch. So we're gonna have Chad talk about the game of fetch.
The game of fetch. In a perfect world, I wanna take the ball, throw the ball across the field, my dog brings me back the ball, drops it at my feet, or I'm able to take it from the dog's mouth, throw the ball again. It's a game, A to B, continually. I have a dog that is retrieving me the ball, but we find that many of you have the issue with your dog. Every time I throw an item for my dog is continually running around the backyard. It now turns into a game of cat and mouse, and my dog is not actually retrieving me the ball. It's more of me chasing the dog to try to get the ball from the dog's mouth. It's very common that the dogs will continue to just hold on to the ball because in their eyes, as soon as the ball is taken away, the game might end. So therefore they clench the ball, they hold it tighter, they don't let the ball go. And then again, this is not an enjoyable experience. The kids at home don't enjoy playing ball with the dog because the dog is never dropping the ball for the kids, and it's just a never-ending cycle that we want to fix. So we're going to teach Maddie today using this giant field, but you're going to be surprised, we're only going to use less than a 6-foot radius to begin to teach this dog how to play ball. I don't need a giant entire backyard or field to teach my dog to play ball. All I need is a 6-foot leash. I have my communication device in place, like my prong collar here, and I have a tennis ball. Once I achieve my results in a 6-foot radius, I'm then able to build, and we're gonna show you that process here today. To start the process, Maddie, 6-foot leash, prong collar, tennis ball. To start, I'm gonna take the ball, I'm gonna throw it less than just a couple feet in front of her. I'm gonna encourage her as soon as I throw the ball to grab the ball, and we're gonna go from there. Maddie, here we go, ready? Okay, get that ball. Good girl, very good. Very good job, good. I'm gonna reach for the ball, kind of see what she does here. Good, so as I grab the ball, you see her, she kind of jerks her head away. She holds on to it, I can't quite get it from her mouth. Good, Maddie, give me that ball. Maddie, give me that ball. Give me that ball, Maddie. So, a common mistake. I'm intentionally doing this right now, but the more I pull this ball from the dog's mouth, the more the dog is actually gonna clinch, and as you see, she starts a game of tug of war. I wanna do the exact opposite. I'm gonna hold the ball, I'm gonna just relax my hand, but as I'm holding the ball, I have a communication device in place. Good girl, no. Good, nicely done. The second she releases this ball, I'm immediately gonna throw the ball to re-engage, restart the game. Good girl, nice job, Maddie, yes, good job. I'm playing a little game of fish here. I throw the ball out, I use my leash to reel her in, she brings it back to me. As soon as I reach for the ball, I'll grab it, drop it, no. Good girl, yes, get that ball, the game starts again. Good girl, nice job, good girl. I'm gonna reach for that ball, nice and gentle. Good, oh, there it is. Throw the ball again, let's try this again. Good girl, yes, very good, good. Out, no, no, good girl, yes, get that ball. Very good girl, very good. Good, good girl. You see, I'm not pulling the ball from her mouth. I'm putting my hand on the ball. I expect her to remove her mouth from the ball. Again, the second that ball is dropped, the second I have that ball in my hand, the game starts again. Good girl, get that ball. Very good girl. I reel her in. See how she goes around. I'm still reeling in my leash. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the ball. No. Correction on the leash. No. Good girl. When I throw the ball and she brings me the ball back, I want a cue, something as simple as out, drop, leave it, whatever you want that command to be. Just make sure you stay consistent with that. And that's what you're gonna use as a cue for the dog to drop the ball. So for Maddie, I'm gonna use the word out. Okay, as soon as she comes, you'll watch, I'm gonna grab, reach for the ball. I'm not gonna pull for it, and you're gonna notice, I'm not gonna immediately just reach for the ball as she comes back. That's gonna want her to be enticed to wanna play the tug of war game I spoke of. So I'll get her back, play with her, encourage her, tell her she's good for coming back to me, and then I'm gonna start the process and show you how I'm gonna teach the out command. Maddie, ready? Get that ball. Very good girl. I'm gonna reel her in. Good job. Nice job. Now she's back with me, she's eating grass. Let's do this again. Get that ball. Good girl. Yes, nice job. Very good. She came back to me. I'm now gonna reach for the ball. Good. Out. No. Good girl. Yes, get that ball. Good girl. Very good. Nice job. I'm gonna reach for the ball. Out. Good girl. Yes. Good. That time was perfect. No correction needed. Willing to have it though. I had my leash ready in case I would need to give her a correction. She's now interested in the grass, that's fine. You're gonna see that your dog might start to just offer to drop the ball before they even get to you. In my opinion, that's a good problem to have. That means you're never gonna have to fight the dog. They bring that ball, drop it right at your feet. You see a lot of border collies, herding dogs, they have that mentality, but labs like to do the same thing. Again, all I'm teaching the dog, let go of the ball. The quicker you let go of the ball, the faster the game starts again. Good girl, come on, Maddie. Good job, good job, come here, good job, good. Step 2. I now have Maddie consistently going out to the end of the leash, bringing it back to me. I'm able to get the ball from her. She's able to willingly drop the ball for me. Now I'm gonna add some distance to this, okay? One of my favorite tools I like to use, not only to teach my dog to play ball, but for working distance control, working more advanced obedience, is a long line, a trusty long line. This is about a 15-foot long line. Believe it or not, Mr. David, he sells these long lines, roughswag.com. It's a BioThing long line. These last forever and ever and ever. This one is probably about 10 years old. It's been in the rain, the mud, all types of elements. They last forever. It's almost like a synthetic leather. So I highly encourage. 15 feet's a very good length. I really don't need any more than that to be able to teach my dog, especially for this particular exercise. But again, investing in a good long line is something I would encourage for any dog owner to have. So from this point on, I have my long line set. I'm actually just gonna feed the entire length of the long line out to the side. It's okay if it gets bundled up a little bit. I'm gonna just quietly, or as I say, slowly roll the ball out in front of her. And as I do that, I'm just gonna let that line just kind of slide across the grass. Be careful because this is where you can get rope burn, especially if you don't have a good quality long line. But again, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna build distance with this now. I have her attention, I have the ball. As soon as I throw it, she's gonna grab the ball. Now immediately, as soon as she grabs the ball, she's gonna make her return to me. Again, I'm gonna play the fishing game as I call it. I'm gonna start to reel in the long line, but most importantly, as I start to simultaneously walk backwards, right? Encourage her to come to me. It creates what I call a funnel effect. Entices the dog to wanna come to me closer. I take the ball. Maddie, look what I got. Good girl. Okay, get that ball. Good, she goes out to the end of the line. I back up, I encourage her to me. Good girl, nice job. Drop, out, good girl. Get that ball. I let her run out to the long line. I encourage her back to me. Good girl, right here. Very good, nice job. Out, no, good girl, get that ball. Very good girl. I back up, I encourage her to me. Now you saw earlier, she ran past me. The second she ran past me, I didn't panic. I just turned and I continue backing up the opposite direction where she came. I continue to encourage the dog to me. Let's try this again. Get that ball. Good girl, come on, Maddie. Good girl. I'm gonna back up here. Good girl, nice job. I'm gonna play with her again. Again, I'm not gonna reach for the ball until she kind of relaxes a little bit. She has the ball in her mouth still. I'm gonna grab the ball, out. Very good, yes. Very good. Good girl. Out, very good. Sit, good. Step 3, the last and final step. Now, step 3 is gonna be at your discretion. I don't encourage going to step 3 until probably the first few sessions, depending on your dog, maybe even a couple weeks. Step 3 is now taking the ball, throwing it basically any distance at this point, still allowing my dog to drag on the long line in case I need to step on the long line or gather her up to bring her back to me. But now I'm gonna take all the pieces from step 1 and step 2 and make it to where now I'm able to throw the ball across the length of the field, have the dog bring the ball back to me. This is something I recommend doing definitely in a backyard, definitely more in a controlled setting. I don't recommend doing this unless your dog has a very good understanding of general obedience and if your dog has a pretty good solid recall, just in the event that your dog might take off from you. But again, trying to create a fun game playing the ball. So I'm gonna get Maddie's attention here again. I'm just gonna drop my long line at this point. I'm gonna take the ball, throw it for Maddie. Second she grabs that ball, I'm gonna encourage her back to me. Good. Now as she comes back to me, I'm gonna grab my long line. Or I can even step on my long line so I don't get rope burn. That's it. Good girl, come here. Good girl, bring that ball. Good. So if your dog starts to do this, she's at a distance, drops the ball, doesn't want to bring it all the way to me. I have a leash in my hand. I'm going to take my leash. Good girl, grab your ball. I'm going to encourage her to come to me. Get your ball. Let's go. Get that ball. Good. Get your ball. Come on. Get your ball. Good girl. That's it. Good. Out. Good girl. Throw the ball again. Come on, Maddie. Nice job. Good job, Maddie. Good job. Nice. Out. Good girl. Get your ball. Good girl. Come on, Maddie. Let's go. Good girl. Very good. Right here. Good girl, nice job. Out.
All right, so now you've got her completely off leash. She's just dragging the long line. You're throwing it a good distance, and now she does a flyby. She just runs past you. If I grab the rope, I get a rope burn. Tell me what my options are.
Again, when that dog is running full speed with a ball in her mouth, I am not going to be reaching for that long line. Even these lines, as good as they are, as I've been explaining, you'll still get a rope burn with the dog running at full speed. So if that dog runs past me with the ball, do not chase the dog, because again, that feeds right into the dog's back to the old mindset of cat and mouse like we keep talking about. So if she runs past me, what I can do is I can kind of gently just put my foot over the long line to kind of slow her down, almost like like a brake, to where it just kind of feeds down. I put pressure on that line, it slows her down enough. I keep clapping. That's the most important part. I want to keep the motivational factor there. I want to always be calling her and praising her to me. And as she goes past me, I'm going to keep the praise. Once she gets to me, I can kind of reach, grab my long line or my leash on her to help kind of regain that control, maybe help get that ball out of her mouth. And then I'm going to throw the ball again.
And this will feed back into how we do our recalls anyway. So when we teach a recall, it's all about drawing the dog into us, like Chad says, through that funnel with motivation, clapping, excited voice, but also backing up away from the dog. Backing up away from the dog draws the dog in, whereas just like Chad said, if we go towards them, it turns them into a cat and mouse game. So that's perfect.
While we are on the subject of teaching our dogs to play ball, we're going to talk about briefly the 2-ball system. David, tell us about the 2-ball system.
So if I have a dog that has possession issues, they want to take the ball, they want to run from me, they don't want to really bring it back to me, or they just won't drop it and I'm having a hard time, maybe I have a hard time grabbing the ball and they're nipping at my hand, they're biting my hand, making it uncomfortable. One option that I'll go to is kind of my last tool in my toolbox at that point is 2-ball. So I throw the ball, Maddie goes out, grabs it, comes running back to me. Instead of me saying, out, drop it, anything like that, as soon as she gets close to me, I throw the other ball. She drops the one because now that one is much less exciting than the one that's going. She runs out, she grabs that one, I scoop up the other ball, and we can play that way until I can get her to reliably out the ball and do something that way. So
good. Again, that's a great technique to use for dogs that do have those possession issues or that like to kind of lock that jaw, and even after a few corrections with the leash, they're still not wanting to drop the ball. So change the mindset, go to the 2-ball system, and you're guaranteed to have a much better result.
All right, so one of my last questions is gonna be, I've got my dog, I threw the ball out, they went out, they grabbed it, they brought it back 5 feet away, they drop it in front of me and they don't bring it all the way, or they go out, they grab it, they pick it up and they say, I'm just gonna drop it right here and I'm not gonna come back to you. What's the answer?
Normally 2 reasons your dog is doing that. I throw the ball, I'm 50, 60 feet out, or excuse me, dog is 50 or 60 feet out, she drops the ball. Immediately the first thing I need to do is just shorten my distance. That's one of the first things is I need to go back to square one. I need to shorten up that distance. Or the second problem, my duration is too long at that point in time. Now she's getting bored. We're maybe 10, maybe we look at the clock, we're 15 minutes into this. Maddie's getting bored, she's getting tired. Now she's starting to kind of make her own game out of it. But back to even with the shorter situation there, is if I still have the leash in my hand, but she didn't quite bring it to me all the way, instead of trying to just reach for the ball and teaching her to kind of be lazy, I'm gonna just encourage her to grab her ball, grab my leash, and again, I'm gonna fish my dog, reel my dog back into me, and kind of make her bring that ball back to me. If anything, like we've been saying, we're gonna back up, encourage her towards me, and she'll more than likely pick that ball up and bring it to me if I'm using that fishing mentality that I keep saying.
And then lots of praise when she gets to you.
Tons of praise. Yeah. Every time your dog gets back to you, you praise, praise, praise. That's gonna make it very clear for her, hey, I like the game of ball, I enjoy bringing this to you, and it's just as much fun for you as it is for me.
Yeah, and one thing that I'll do is when I'm teaching a young dog to play fetch or to go out and grab something and bring it back to me, I usually time my sessions. So I'll say, okay, I start my stopwatch, and when she gets to the point where she looks like she's getting a little bit bored, her energy's not as good, I look at my watch and I say, okay, that was 5 minutes in. Next time I'm only gonna do 4 minutes, and I'm gonna stop there while the game is very exciting still. So, perfect.